Hey, how are you guys? It's great to be here on live with you guys. And I wanted to talk to you today about senior executives, how they fail and what's needed for improvement. Really. Are you a senior management? Are you in management? Or are you an entrepreneur? Or are you an employee at a company? In today's marketplace, we want to take a look at that and see what's going on. And also, I wanted to just give you an update about last week in regards to working from home policy and what's going on in the marketplace. Are you going back to work in the office full-time, part-time, on a shift, or are you staying at home, working at home on a regular basis? So if you saw that, great, comment. If not, let's just go ahead and get started. You could always go back and look at past posts and see what we have going on from the past posts. So thank you very much for being here today. Really do appreciate it. I can see more and more people are coming in. That's looking great. So today we want to talk about managers and senior executives and leaders. Oftentimes we see people get promoted prematurely, right? It's called the Peter Principle. And it results in a negative setbacks for the company. People usually have a common goal when they get hired. So what happens when they get hired with that common goal and then down the road? They want to grow professionally, right? I know I do. I still do. And hopefully you and they develop personal wellness throughout the whole process and a personality, if you will. And as you move up the ladder and get more responsibilities and accountabilities, your statuses do change. Your income changes. Your benefits to grow changes. The desire to get into senior leadership is almost intoxicating. But people don't always realize what goes into it and what it really requires to be successful in those types of roles. Me as a CEO, I started yesterday at 7 a.m. and I didn't end until like 9 p.m. It was actually 8:45. I don't think people really see what happens behind the curtains and what happens behind the scenes. And I kind of lied there because it starts before 7 a.m. It usually starts at 5 a.m. when I wake up and the processes that I go into to get ready. Did you know about 50 to 60% of executives fail within the first 18 months of being promoted into said position or hired into a senior executive role? That's insane. Why does that happen? I can give you some good reasons. And today we're going to go over some. Have you realized that as you grow, each progressive step becomes harder to achieve? You know, our past successes, our past trials, tribulations, the choices we make, the things that hit us in the gut, that gives us the energy and the depth, the data to really handle the situations that are helping us or hurting us into the future. Those choices we make, those struggles that we deal with, the things that punched us in the gut, our successes, those achievements that our team did, help us as we move into the future. Each step requires more time and energy and focus than the last. And these changes, your work-life balance also gets more difficult as we move forward and up. And up is not always better, I have to tell you. There's times that I wish that I was a manager, just a manager, handling a team, a small team. I handle a team now, but my team's fantastic. Love working with them each day. But I sometimes wish I just had just that one job that I was just doing. Sometimes that's easier. But who would do this next job? I'll be honest. It's not always to get to an executive level. It's not the thing that you necessarily want to do. It's not. And for someone not prepared or ready for that position, it requires quite a lot of work for one to do. The learning never ends. We are always learning. because we don't know what's coming next, and things change, right? You can't be stuck in that mindset that, you just got your gateway computer and your floppy disk and you're ready to go. Times have changed drastically from those green screens, right? They're good for boat anchors nowadays, but that's about it. And some companies I see are still working on those old systems, that old 886, right? And someone not prepared or ready for this position, it can be quite hard to actually be an executive. So, what do you need to do to be successful? And why are there so many failings? I'm glad you asked this question, because I don't think people ask these questions. I think a lot of HR people in that position are struggling and dealing with that. Are the CEOs dealing and struggling with that? Are they seeing that these positions do fail after 18 months? There's a certain level of leadership that is required to be successful, and you move up the ladder in the company. And that level of leadership has to change as you're changing, as you're stepping up into the next step, the next rung of the ladder. However, there are times when the company prematurely promotes someone to this leadership position because of the knowledge or the expertise. They've been there for a long time. They have a particular knowledge in a certain area or subject. This Peter principle really hurts a company and their growth and the leadership, and people leave because of poor leadership. These people are experts in their field, but not exactly experts in leading others. Just understand, there's two different mindsets. An expert in their field and an expert in leadership, one who exercises leadership as their natural self-expression. Yet, they are put in leadership roles without that leadership. Executives fail usually because they don't know how to lead properly. Ultimately, it results in a bad business, and people under them won't follow. As a senior executive, you will need to be able to influence others, which will stem from your leadership skills. You have to be like a consultant, one that can value and treasure the information that you gather in this role. And definitely gossip is not allowed. This doesn't mean don't promote them. It really doesn't. So I'm not telling you don't promote those senior people that have been there for 10 years and put them into that role. Are they going to be happy, and do they have that leadership? Some people just do it when they are ready or are provided that opportunity, or they're provided the coaching that is needed to mold them into great executives. In fact, you should always include some kind of leadership training to anyone that is being put into a leadership role. Are they having an outward mindset? Do they understand that there's no gossip allowed? What's their integrity look like? Are they about community, or are they about themselves? Even if you think that they'll be a great leader, are they really going to be? But how do you move and improve someone's leadership skills? What does it actually take? First off, you need to make sure that they have these 3 qualities before you can even try. Number 1, a high level of motivation. If they don't have that high level of motivation, forget it. They have to be motivated. I mean, not just by salary or bonus, incentives, a high level of motivation. They need to be, number 2, self-aware. Someone that's not self-aware will not do well in that leadership position. And humility is number 3. So when we look at humility, are they able to honestly own everything where they fail? Because you're going to fail, and you're going to fail a lot. There's not a day that I go by that I come into the office and something doesn't fail. I fail every day. And I'm challenged every day. There's something new that comes by. And that's what it takes to run a $100 million company. Without these qualities, you cannot be a leader. They are just needed in order for someone to fit into this definition of leader, right? You need these qualities. And if you were to throw a fourth in there, humanity would be my fourth. It really would be. And it's not often talked about. It's not. And we should, because we're all created equal. So let's talk about high motivation. Let's start with high motivation as the impact, as number one. Why would someone need a high level of motivation to improve their leadership capabilities? I mean, really, you were just promoted, you just got put into that position, you have the title, you have the plaque on your door, and you're ready. And now people are going to respect you because you have a title. Not really. Well, if you aren't motivated to improve or change, then it's not going to happen. For example, if you want to get into doing a 4 a.m. workout, then you aren't a normal person. You're not. I only know a few people that are willing to do that, and they do it multiple times a week. Trust me. If you aren't highly motivated, probably not going to happen for you. Maybe some days you will, but it won't be consistent. And you probably won't see much change at all. So how motivated do you really need to be? Well, there's 4 levels of motivation because number 1, you were told to do it, right? You told me to do it, so I'm going to do it. Number 2, you want me to do it. Number 3, because I want to, which is a good one. And number 4, because it makes a difference. And I love that one. You want your senior executives at level 4 motivation, right? I mean, really, who doesn't want to make a difference? But if it's a blind spot for them, it's going to be very hard. They should want to improve and change because it will make a difference for them personally, professionally, and for the people that they lead. The next quality you want someone to have is, of course, self-awareness. Self-awareness is being aware of different aspects of self, including traits that you have, right? Your behaviors and feelings. When we see ourselves clearly, we are more confident and more creative. But that's not all. We also want to have a sounding board. And we want sound decisions. If we're not able to be that sounding board for people to tell us, then we are going to have a hard time making these sound decisions. We want to build stronger relationships and communication with our team. We want to be more effective with our communication as well. It's all about the other people. With self-awareness, you are able to take a good look into the mirror and really see what needs improvement and the areas you can work on. This leads to someone being a more effective leader and more satisfied employees. Don't we all want more satisfied employees? I know I do. A leader without self-awareness isn't really looking for ways to improve anything. They're stuck in their business. They may be managing projects and people, sure, making sure that everything is completed by the time they leave for the day, and it's supposed to be, right? But there won't be any great improvements from them at all. Having an open mind, open-ended conversation in everything that you do, you need to have that outward mindset and realizing that there are flaws in your craft. You will always help people, and you will always learn, and you will always improve, which is needed in order to be a great leader. A lot of people see a great leader, but they don't see all the hard work that goes through all of that, which brings me to humility. So on to this third quality. Leaders need humility more now than ever. Humility is the core ingredient that every leader should possess and strive for. It's broadly defined as self-awareness, appreciating others, and their contribution and strengths. You have to look at their contribution and strengths, and you have to acknowledge them. Appreciating others' strengths and their contribution is so important. And last, openness to new ideas and feedback regarding not only their performance, but your performance. How are you doing as a leader? Doing 360s or a manager skipping review is important. You can't just go through life thinking that everything's going great because of your title. You just made it to this level of executive. You have to do the work. If you have all the work, great. You're going to have to do more work because you have to work on yourself. And you're working on yourself for the purpose of others and for the team. Because when things start falling apart, if you don't have things together, everything will fall apart. I guarantee you that. No matter how high on a roll you get, if you can't take the feedback and be humble yourself, you got to be humble to hear others' perceptions of your leadership abilities, then you won't be open to change at all. I learned more by my failures than anything else. And as you go, it's nice to celebrate your wins. Absolutely. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate your team always. But you have to get back to learning. I mean, really, if you want to really work hard, start reading. Read 10 pages a day. When you read 10 pages a day, you will see how many books you read a year. When was the last time you read a book on leadership? Even the best leaders take feedback on a regular basis and try to improve their skills. No one is too good for feedback or improvement. Don't settle into what has worked for you to get to this point in your life and your career. When you stop growing as a person, you stop expanding your mind. You stop learning new skills. You stop improving old ones as well. They fade away. They turn black and white and fade off into the distance. The team you have under you will watch and mimic how you do things and how things are done from the top management all the way down. You should always lead in the way that you want to be copied. Be the change you want, because it will be. So if you aren't that great right now or at first, yes, others will notice, absolutely. But when you notice, it will make the change that's needed. It will show you how you are as a leader. You are always able to learn and grow and adapt. Absolutely. That's a God-given gift that you have. So in conclusion, if you feel as though you are unprepared for this new responsibility, this new accountability as a senior executive, ask for someone to coach you. Ask your employees, how are you doing? And to be honest. And go to your employer and ask him or her for training. You don't want to realize that you aren't effectively doing your job when things are falling apart and failing, and then 18 months later you're like, what's going on? How come this is not working for me or the company? Don't be ashamed to ask for help, for feedback, or for training, honestly. You need to be great in your role. And the best thing you could do is say, I need help here. No matter how far you are up in that ladder, in that company, there's always someone that can help you. The biggest reason executives fail is due to their what? Their ability to lead effectively. And at that level required in their role, the higher you go, it's more required and it's more looked at. When there are senior executives that know how to lead properly, you will see that company will grow, not only in size, but financially as well. and their culture will grow as well. I hope your guys are getting this because this is beautiful. You will be productive and well maintained in your growth. And when you grow, your company grows. When you grow, your culture grows. I mean, really. Trust me, you're multiplying who you are. If you're someone that's not growing and you're not really leading and you're not exercising your leadership, your company or the people that you're leading won't either. So refine these leadership qualities in yourself and then learn more about leadership and keep learning. Don't stop, no matter what. Even at your lower position, what I want you to do, I want you to think about how can you be a better leader? How can you take your team forward into the future and learn more about leadership? Honestly, ask someone. DM me. No matter what position you are in your job, you can always apply leadership. And when you do so, it will be noticed. And remember, your employees matter. So if they call you, pick up the phone. No matter what you're doing, pick up the phone, answer them, and be there for them. And if you're busy, they'll know it. So let's see if there's any questions, comments, or concerns. Let me know if you have any questions to become a better leader. All right? And amazing, Becker. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it, bud. That's from Danish. John, I work out every morning at about 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. every day. Great job, John. I love the aspect of humility. Thank you. Please, can I get this audio or video recording of this broadcast for reference and repeat learning? Absolutely. You know what? It'll be on LinkedIn. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. I think we're on Snatch. I think so. Check it out. We'll get this going. So, but yeah, you can re-record, or not re-record, but you can re-listen to this anytime. Listen, I want to just thank you all for being here today, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. We got a guest next week, and we'll be letting you know more about that. Also, there's a couple surveys from today. Go ahead and check those out. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day, guys.